Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. This is going to be the start of something. What the heck does that mean? Every Wednesday, I'm going to come on. At 7 o'clock, and I'm going to call it Wisdom Wednesday. I used to do a video series, and now I'm going to make it live for you guys. So today, what I wanted to talk about is, so many times people want to start a diet, a new workout regimen, get healthy. What do you call it? Like leave me a comment. Like, what do you call it? Do you call it getting healthy? Do you call it getting fit? Like, what do you call it? And so just leave me a comment, because I just want to make sure we use the same, description. So many times people say to me, I don't have the motivation. Like, I'm just not motivated. And that to me is, we all need to put a name to it. We need to name something. We need to put a face on it. We need to put a smell on it. And so when we don't want to do something, we don't want to get fit, we don't want to change our eating habits, we don't want to work out, we call it, I'm not motivated. And so that's great. That's fine. So I ask you, the question is that there is no magic wand. I have no fairy dust that I can just sprinkle over you to motivate you. So when someone says to me, I'm not motivated, I lack motivation, I always ask, whatever it is that you're seeking, I don't care if it's health, it could be getting a new job, whatever. I ask if what you're seeking is important to you. Because if it's not important to you, you will always come up with an excuse. You will always come up with a reason not to do it. But if you can say what you want, be it get fit, get healthy, whatever. If you find why it's important to you, you will find the discipline to turn it into a habit. Okay, so it's like, I want you to think about it as kind of like this vicious circle. So it's like, why do you want it? So for me, and if, I see that Tony and Caitlin have hopped on. So if you guys have, your kind of reason why you want to get fit and healthy. So for me, I teach group fitness classes. I stand in front of 25 people 5 days a week, and I'm telling them how to exercise. And for me, I'm vain. If I don't look the part, why the hell would you come to my class? Why would you think I know anything? And for you guys, you're in my group, you read my newsletters. Like, if I don't walk the walk, why would you think I know what the hell I'm talking about? So for me, that's my why. That's my motivation. My motivation is that I want to make sure that I continue to be a role model, that if I tell you do this, I'm doing it too. That's my motivation. That's what gets me out of bed on a cold morning to go to the gym, when I would rather roll over and put the blanket over my shoulder. That's my motivation. So, because that's what gets me out of bed. And it's the discipline of going to the gym, the discipline of not, eating the things that I'm supposed to eat, that have now become a habit, that I will tell you that I started to form a new habit 45 days ago when I went vegan. Did I want to go vegan? You bet your sweet ass no. I like my meat. But it was a change that I needed to make in order to go back to my motivation. My motivation was to fit into my pants and be a role model. And my body just wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. So this is a way for me to get to my goal. So this new habit has now become more of a discipline. Like, I've eaten the same way for 15 years. 15 years. I had to break apart my eating. And I did it. Was it a slam dunk? No. Did it happen overnight? No. Has it been a struggle at times? Yes. But I kept going back to what was my motivation. I kept going back to why was I doing this. I kept knowing that there was no magic fairy dust. I kept knowing that if I wanted my outcome, I had to do the work. I had to build and create these habits. And so what I ask for you is, what do you want? And I want you to know that sometimes these answers don't come to you overnight. You don't have to sit on a mountaintop and say Om. But think about it. Really think about it. I'm a journaler, so it's journal. Sit down and journal. What do I really want? Like, and how bad do I want it? Do I want it bad enough that I'm willing to make the changes I know I need to make? Now, these changes don't have to be overnight. You know, some people, you know, I like to describe it, some people are like a light switch. Like, you know, as soon as a change happens, boom, it's done, I'm making the change. Some people are like a dimmer switch. You gotta like slowly make the change. And that's totally your call. You know, you decide, because what I want is this to be sustainable. Because when you go balls to the wall, you know, and you just kind of pull your whole world apart, that's a whole lot of change for some people. But for some of us, you know, I'm gonna throw myself into the deep end with a rock. Pull the Band-Aid off immediately. Speaking of Band-Aid, so can you see this? Yeah. So this week I was using my spiralizer and cut my finger. And it was bleeding for probably like an hour. Now that it's kind of stopped, it probably could have used a stitch. But, I suck it up. Back to you guys. That was commercial break. Spiralizer, no. Buy it at Whole Foods. They pre-spiralize it for you. No fingers will be damaged. So I ask you, what do you want? And then what habits do you want to develop to get you to what you ultimately want? And, you know, y'all are smart. Y'all are so smart. You know, right now, there's one thing that you're doing right now that you know you shouldn't be doing. It could be drinking diet soda every day, multiples. It could be having multiple sugary coffees, you know, the mocha foco chapas out there. It could be skipping meals. It could be over-exercising. It could be under-exercising. It could be having artificial sweeteners, you know, not sleeping, you know, not managing your stress. We all know that there's certain things, not sleeping, did I say that? I think so. So many things that we know that we should be doing. And I'm not saying this week do all 10. I want you to say, okay, I know, make a list. Like, I write everything down. I'm a paper girl. I wrote my notes for tonight. Write everything down and say, you know what am I not doing well? And then look at that list and say, okay, sleeping would be easy. I can easily set a bedtime. And the beauty, if you have an iPhone, on iPhone, they now have a thing called bedtime. And if you say how many hours you want to get to sleep, it will show you what time you should go to bed. So I was like, oh my God, that's so amazing. So, you know, it's a tool. There's, you know, there are tools out there to help you get better, get more sleep. And then know what your triggers are. You know, are there certain social triggers that if you go to a certain place, you always have to order a certain thing? Is there a trigger that if you eat a certain food, it causes you to like eat? Is there a trigger about location? You know, those sort of family trigger. If you're with a certain person, you have to have a glass of wine. Whatever it is, think about what those triggers are, and then how do you counterbalance that? And I know it's a lot to think of, but what I tell you, and I say this, is that once you start to kind of slowly chip away at these things, the concept of diet never enters your mind. For 15 years, I don't think I was on a diet. For 15 years, I just ate a certain way. I was a little bit more regimented when I was competing. Okay, I was a pain in the ass when I was competing, but now my eating has become more regimented, and it's not about don't eat this, don't eat that. You know, I have moderation in my life, and it's not, you know, balls to the wall. It's like, you know, 80-20. I know what my moderation is. You know, last week was my anniversary, and I knew I went out and I had three glasses of champagne, and I didn't even think twice about it. I just was like, I knew I'd be celebrating that night. The end of story. But then Saturday night, I went to a party, and I just had water. Like, I didn't even, like, the thought of like having a beer, plus it was cold. The thought of having a beer outside of this hayride just didn't even appeal to me. So, you know, you have to decide, like, what do you want for your life? And don't let other people around you dictate what you want for your life. So that's all I got for you guys today. You know, it's figuring out why you want something. That's what's going to be your motivation. So when you say I lack motivation and you say you want to work out, I always come back to, well, why do you say you want to work out? Then it's figuring out, okay, it's not about willpower, because willpower sucks ass. It is about figuring out what can you start with being disciplined. If it's one simple thing that you're making a change, rock on with your bad self. And then build from there, then build from there. So what I would love to hear from you guys is just something that you want to work on being consistent. Like, I want this group to be interactive. I want to be able to like help you guys out, like brainstorm some ideas to help you with your consistency or whatever it is that you're looking to, whatever you're looking to do. So that's all I got for now. I'm off to cook some dinner and hopefully not kill myself. And I'll talk to you guys next week for another edition of Wisdom Wednesday.